Hi.
I'm Jen,
I'm Corey.
and we are
Corey and Jen do stuff.
Welcome to our channel. Welcome back to our channel. It's nice to see you again. I know I've been around a couple of times, but this guy's handsome face is finally back for a short series we're going to do on our Walt Disney World trip we just came back from. Hence the exhausted faces. Well, face, I can't speak for him. He looks great all the time, but you know, it was definitely exhausting. And our kids' first trip to Disney. So we have a lot to talk about. We're going to split it up into 5 short videos, just in case, you know, maybe you don't want to hear about Art of Animation, or you don't want to hear about new rides. Maybe you just want to hear about Genie Plus and how to use Genie Plus and to get the best use out of that plan.
Or navigating your way through the different resorts and parks.
Yes. So, like I said, welcome. We're glad you're here, and hopefully you get some ideas or some tips or tricks you can use on your next Disney vacation, or maybe if you need help planning, go ahead and email me. I'll have Corey link it down below, my travel agent email, and I will be glad to help you plan your next Disney vacation, or any cruise vacation, or any vacation. Everyone needs a vacation. We need a vacation from our vacation.
Right.
So, you know, there's always that. So to get started, we are going to discuss our Art of Animation check-in and the resort, our room, which I apologize in advance, we didn't get very many pictures of because I've stayed in one before, so I was not even thinking about getting pictures. But I will share some pictures from the last time I stayed at AOA, and just give you a little overview of the hotel itself, for the resort. I shouldn't even call it a hotel. It is a complete resort.
Right.
And Corey's first time there, so it's nice to get his perspective as well, being a first timer at the resort, and see, you know, what he thinks.
Sure.
I think last time when we were at Disney, we didn't stay on property, so...
No, we actually stayed over by Universal, so it was...
This is your first time on property using Disney transportation, which will be a separate video as well. But yeah, let's get started. What did you think overall of Art of Animation?
The lobby is amazing. I wish I had gotten pictures, but there's so many pictures of... so it's Little Mermaid, it's Cars, it's Finding Nemo, and it's Lion King. So they have a lot of early art, concept art out in the lobby, and big pictures. Oh, it's so amazing.
It is very, very eye-catching. Like, the second you walk in the door, the first thing you see are these huge pieces of concept art on the wall, and big bold colors, lots of reds, lots of yellows, lots of blacks. Like, it's really gorgeous. And just to give you an idea, Art of Animation is a higher end of the value resort chain. So it's more expensive than staying at an all-star resort, slightly more than staying at Pop Century Resort, which is another value resort right across of Hourglass Lake from Art of Animation. And then there's Art of Animation, which is probably the highest tier value resort. Not quite as expensive as a moderate, but more expensive of the value resorts.
And one thing I noticed just seeing some of the other value resorts is they enter from the outside. So your room is like
a
motel. Other than the Little Mermaid suites, or those buildings, all of the other buildings you enter in through a door, and then they're all T-shaped. So there's one that goes back, and then 2 wings that come off, and it's all inside. The elevators up.
More like a hotel.
More like a hotel style.
Art of Animation, besides one of the All-Stars, I think it's All-Star Movies, has family suites. Art of Animation is the only other value that does have suites in it, and they do have 3 tier levels of suites there as well. They have a Cars suite, a Finding Nemo suite, and a Lion King suite, and they're all just themed to whatever movie. We were staying in a Cars suite, so they have 3 separate Cars buildings. I think they're, besides a Little Mermaid room, which is just a standard room, they're the closest suites to the pools, to the cafe, to the front desk, and to the buses. Everything else is pretty stretched out and far out. Hi, Luna. And so it was probably, for us, felt like a lot of walking, but probably less amount of walking than with some of the other rooms.
And our hotel, I wish I'd got a picture from the outside, but our hotel door opened right up, and it was just a short little walk over, and they have the Cozy Cone Motel, and the laundry room is in there. There's 2 bathrooms with showers, and then the pool's like directly behind it. So we were so close to that pool, and it's a small pool, but we were also a very short walk from the Finding Nemo pool. So
they call it the Big Blue Pool, which is the biggest pool on property, very much the busiest pool on property because it has the most little playthings in it, right? The splash pads and all the fun, you know, oversized Disney stuff in there.
It was so
the
cool.
Sprinklers and all that. The Cozy Cone pool is much smaller, more of a kidney bean shaped pool, and what I consider a quiet pool. It was always more adults than children, and a very quiet themed pool. And they had these cones that you feel like you're shrunk down to cartoon size basically, but they had these cones that were cabanas. So you go find a cone and sit in the cabana, and there's chairs and tables and stuff in there. It was really nice. The theming is amazing at the Value Resorts. You could definitely tell you're at a Disney resort, where I've been to some moderates and even a deluxe. You can't really tell you're at a Disney resort. They're fancy and they're super nice, and they're decorated gorgeously. But you have to look really, really hard to see the Disney theming, where in the Value Resorts, you really get that in your face. You're at Disney feeling.
Yeah. And every night at the Big Blue Pool around 7:30, 8 o'clock, they have a free movie.
Oh yeah, they always have movie nights.
So they had like Onward, and was the Christmas one that they had like a Christmas day.
I'll be home for Christmas. Yeah, it was like a Christmas themed day. They were decorating Christmas ornaments by the pool and
playing holiday music at the pool and stuff.
The first night, well, not the night we got there was close to 11 o'clock midnight,
so
but the next night we were there and we went to the pool. They were playing Frozen 2, so we were all there singing along to Frozen 2, and but they have a lot of other pool activities throughout the day. Like they'll have trivia, and they'll go play games, and they do have lawn games too. If you don't want to be in the pool, they have lawn games.
Cornhole, and they had
like those toss. I don't know.
It was like
you had to throw
2 balls on a string, and you throw them over some
racks.
Yeah,
tiers. I don't know. But yeah, they have lots and lots and lots of stuff to do. They were tie-dyeing shirts, which some of the stuff is an extra fee. I think the shirts were right around $30. You had to buy the shirt.
17 something for the shirt, yeah.
And then the Christmas ornament decorating was like $5 or $6. So they do have some things you have to pay an extra fee for, but then like the trivia or the pool dances or things like that of the movie, that's all free at night. And of course the pool they don't charge for that. They do have a pool bar with some snacks right next door, which we used the soda fountain a lot. So the second day we were there, I made sure, because I knew from staying there before, for $20 or $19.90, whatever it was, you get a refillable mug. And you can only do free refills at the resort, but you can use it anywhere. But we mostly used it when we were at the resort, like when we decide to go sit by the pool or go get in the pool, we'd go fill it up at the little pool bar there. They had a soda fountain machine right outside. That was really nice and well worth the money for us, because the kids really liked being able to go run downstairs and get a soda if they wanted. There's lots of just neat things around, and it's, you know, we're going to talk about transportation in another video, but it's super convenient. You can walk across the bridge at Hourglass Lake and go to Pop Century and use, you know, you can't use their pool, but you can go over there and look at their little shop in there, or you could go get a soda over there if you wanted. Their cafe is very similar to the one we ate at, so
I would say too that I'm not condoning this because it is a Disney rule, but most of the pools in the higher end resorts have a Magic Band entry into the pools. There's no Magic Band entry into the Art of Animation pools. So it says resort guests only, but if you're at Pop Century and you wanted to go check it out, there's nothing really stopping you. It's on your honor, but...
And the pools are super similar. I mean, the big difference is the pool at Pop Century is shaped kind of like a flower. They call it the Hippy Dippy pool, versus the big blue pool, which is really just a big
all
blue
Nemo
pool.
themed.
Yeah.
There's jellyfish with water fountains, and
It's
Crush
pretty
is
cool,
swimming
yeah.
with Dory on his fin, and yeah, it's
pretty cool.
it's pretty
looking.
amazing.
But
and-
yeah,
Me and the kids did walk the long trek all the way down to the Little Mermaid pool, and the Lion King resorts, or there's two buildings, a lot of cool Lion King theming there, but there's no pool in the Lion King area. You have to go all the way down to the Little Mermaid, and it was okay. The theming wasn't, I don't think, was as good. There was a big King Triton, and there was or Neptune. Triton. I'm thinking SpongeBob too. So, and then there was a big Ursula down there, and I think Ariel was there on her shell, but there it wasn't as themed as the other two pools, I don't think.
well, even the Cars pool, though, like I said, it's a basic kidney-shaped pool, but you get the cone.
You have all the cones.
You know, things around it, and you're right next to the, what was it called?
Sarge's Supplies
Sarge's Surplus
is right there,
Supply.
and the Big Wheel Motel is like right
Yeah.
behind it, so you can see Lightning and Sally back
right
behind
there.
the pool, yeah, and Fillmore's over on the side too. So
Yeah, so I mean, they're not overly themed on the quiet pools, but it's still really, really neat to go out there. And the kids really liked swimming in the smaller pool, just hanging out and relaxing. After a long day at the park, it was kind of nice to not be around so many people and just be able to hang out and chill out. I know I preferred it. And I went out there a couple of nights, so
absolutely.
yeah. Was there anything else about Art of Animation you noticed?
You know, I really like the convenience of that resort. It felt like not everything, especially after walking around the parks all day, it didn't feel like everything was such a long walk. Unless you're staying down on like the Little Mermaid side, nothing is really a long walk in that resort. The cafe is right off of the gift shop, which is right inside the lobby, so you can just walk through. I really like the convenience of that resort. It was laid out very well.
The only other thing I wanted to talk about was our room, because we had two teenagers that don't get along always. I wanted to make sure they each had their own space, which is kind of why, and it helped that Disney came out with the Disney Plus. She's trying to get Corey's attention. When they came out with the Disney Plus special, we actually got to save some money and upgrade to the Art of Animation Cars suite. So one teen got his own space and his own bed, kind of his own room without the wall, right? And then the other teen got the other space, which is almost her own room without the wall. And then they had a bathroom to share, which is really nice. Plus there's a kitchenette. We had a microwave. We had a cooler fridge, no freezer, right? Just if you all have any questions about that, there are no freezers unless you get to a deluxe resort or the All Stars Movies suite. They do have I don't know what size it is, but they have a refrigerator with an actual freezer on the top.
But this also was not the typical wine cooler fridge that everyone talks about, that only keeps things like semi-cold.
So the average temperature, when I stayed at Pop Century, and they have the little thermostat thing in there, the coldest you could get one of those little mini fridges was like 48 degrees. It was not, it was like enough to keep it cool but not cold. Ours actually was freezing some of our stuff. Like we had
the cooling
what are they
towels.
called? The cooling towels. We would get them sopping wet at night and then put them in the refrigerator
In
overnight.
a Ziploc bag.
In a Ziploc bag. And we would and they would be frozen, like crunchy frozen in the morning. So it got cold, but not enough to like keep anything freezer, like ice cubes or anything like that.
Right.
But it worked more than well enough for us. We had applesauce for the kids and some string cheese and things like that didn't need to be
Peanut butter and jelly.
super cold. Yeah. So it worked fine for us, but there is a microwave. They do supply a few plates, paper bowls, some plastic silverware.
And they give you like 4 things that are closed, but inside each thing of plates there is 2 plates. So if you have a bigger family, they aren't like typical like floppy paper plates.
No,
they hold up
sturdy.
pretty decent.
But you could ask for more. I mean, that's just what was there, and we weren't using them until towards the end of our stay more, when we decided to eat at the resort a little bit more, because we spent a lot of money on food, which we'll go over in a different video as well. But yeah, they do supply a lot of that stuff. Their housekeeping is very different now post-COVID. They only come every other day, and they only take out the trash, empty the trashes for you, and bring you new towels. They'll clean up any towels that are on the floor and replace any towels that were used. They do not make beds. They do not clean anything. They don't change sheets unless requested. They don't do any of that. So just so you're aware, if you decide to go, if that's something that's going to bother you or you need, they will gladly bring you clean sheets if you want to change sheets, and then they'll pick up the dirty ones the next time they come in. But they don't do a normal like housekeeping
Deep clean
in the middle of your stay. But they are super accommodating if you call and ask them for anything. I called and asked for more towels, I think, one day, or an extra pillow and blankets. That's what it was. And she gave me a hard time. It was funny. But
she was very funny.
yeah. But they were right there, no problem. So, and we did order groceries before we went. They were delivered way before we even got there. They were at Bell Services, so then we just had to go down and pick them up. They loaded them up for us, and
Bell Services will bring your groceries up if you're in the room, but they will not leave that. They'll leave luggage, but they will not leave groceries, even if they're not cold groceries. They won't leave them in the room. So if you're not there, they won't
drop
deliver
them off for you.
And we
but
had
you
thought
can go
they
pick
did.
them up. Well, I knew they did for me last time, but I didn't have anything cold. I had a case of water and a box of mini bags of chips, and that was it. So they were okay with that, but we were also in the room. So it's not that difficult. They loaded it up on a cart for us, and we just wheeled it upstairs.
Yeah.
It wasn't that big of a deal. But if you want something delivered, you have to be there. And they're happy to do it. Everyone was super friendly.
Yeah.
Overly helpful. Everyone at the hotel was super awesome. They even helped us. We got Magic Band Pluses on our last day. So we got to try out the new Magic Band Pluses. But it was kind of a pain to set up. We have Android phones. They are
a little touchy with
made
the Androids.
to go better with Apple stuff. Whatever. Not even going there. Okay. But they got them to work. So it was awesome.
Well, and Brittany and I had an issue with our original. We got just the generic. We ordered our Magic Bands like 2 years ago. So we had the original generic one color Magic Bands, And our second day there,
It actually melted.
yeah, we were at Epcot, and they started, the little prongs that go in and hold it were pulling away from the band. So by the end of the day, Brittany and I both were just holding our magic bands in our pockets or whatever. And we went down to the
crazy.
We went down to the front desk, and I was just like, "Hey, our magic bands just kind of came apart." And he wrote us a ticket for 2 magic bands, and we went over, and they said they're free. You can get whatever you want. So we ended up getting some updated magic bands, and then
the Magic Band
Plus, came out. I was like,
later.
I should have just held on to it until Magic Band Plus.
We each got one. We did not get one for the kids because we weren't even sure when the kids were going to go back again. We knew obviously we were going to go back again.
Mm-hmm.
But they are really expensive if you're not going to use them. Probably not a great idea. And we'll talk more about them later. But we just wanted to give you a rundown on Art of Animation. If you have any questions, please put them down below. Please like and subscribe, and
smash the bell!
And we'll see you on our next video.
Bye!